live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good and Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Hey fam, what's good with y'all? Y'all already know what to do. Let's get it. I need y'all to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Get my Instagrammers on deck. Trying to get my Instagram on deck. Got a little bit of jazz playing in the background. Y'all know how we do it. There we go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Y'all already know what it is. You got to go tune in WTCCFM.org, iHeartRadio to hear the jazz, because otherwise they'll be tripping. But like, share, subscribe, let somebody know we're on the air. You see the subject in the comment section. That's what we're dealing with today. Let's get it. Rep your city, rep your town. Where are you chiming in from? I need to know. I need to know. I see Houston. I see Lafayette, Louisiana. Rep your city, rep your town. I see you. I see you. Get this Otis Redding popping. Oh, let me get my Twitter spacers in. Almost forgot about them. Let me see. I'm going to forget about my Twitter spacers. All right, there we go. All right, Twitter on deck. Twitter on deck. Instagram on deck. Facebook on deck. YouTube on deck. WTCC on deck. Let's go.
You know she's waiting, just anticipating.
Good morning. I see you, Charlotte. I see Houston, Louisiana, double Charlotte. All right. The UK is in the building. Chicago. The Shy is up in here. Let me see who on the gram. Let's see who on the gram. It makes it easier. Salem, North Carolina. All right, who else on the gram? Come on, rep it, rep it, rep it. Los Angeles. All right. Pensauken,
New Jersey, the Field, Massachusetts, St. Petersburg, in the building. Chicago's in here. Squeeze, don't tease. Nah. You got to. Uh-oh. What happened to my next song? There we go. All right, let's get it, y'all. Tell somebody Bishop is on the air right now. Talk to me. Talk to me. Where y'all at? Where y'all at, YouTube? Where y'all at?
A positive attitude says everything about you. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Every day you get up, you've been given a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it's up to you of how you unwrap it. So yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. So don't let the pain of your past bleed into your present and poison your future. Stop replaying the movie, why did this happen to me? When it's done with you, be done with it. If it seems like you keep running into pigeons, it's an indication that you're flying too low. So set your sights a little higher. Remember, eagles fly by themselves. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. Allow your challenges to be a stepping stone to propel you into new possibilities. So be discontent with your past accomplishment. You're only as great as your last success.
No,
So
I don't have a
maintain
problem with
your
blood
hunger
sugar being
and your
high.
passion.
I'm
Remember
good,
this,
Doc.
within every seed there is a
But I
tree,
appreciate the
and every tree
concern.
there is a forest. Who and
I
what you were
appreciate the
born into
concern.
is simply the environment to prepare you for your ultimate purpose. It was not a setback, it was a setup. Your purpose and
A
potential
little
is
warm
bigger
in
than
here,
your
y'all.
past pain or problem.
Listen to your heart, don't let your mind fool you.
Let's get it. All right.
Successful people will do the things they hate to get the things they love. Much of life is about sacrifice. You got to give up something to get something. Success is not about what you've accomplished, but it's what you have overcome. For it's the test that you pass in life which qualifies you for the next level.
What we munching? That was a lemon loaf.
Most people
I
drive
indulge
12,000 miles a year, move
every couple of
forward,
weeks in
but
one of
most
them.
accidents are caused when they move backwards. You gotta stay focused on what's ahead of you.
Baltimore.
What's behind you. It's your daily routine that determines your success or failure. Whatever you practice at is what you become great at. What's more important than being intelligent is having the right attitude.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning. Welcome to the Black Love Experience. Welcome to 2025. Happy New Year, family. I haven't been with you since last year. Yeah, on Monday it was still last year. So Happy New Year to each and every one of you. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And I'm going to try to encapsulate a whole lot into this one show. Today I'm talking about racist hypocrisy historical atrocities and these MAGA double standards. 413-736-2781, 413-736-2781 is the number here if you want to chime in on the conversation. Welcome to everybody that's here in the 413, everybody listening over our 4,000 watts in the Pioneer Valley. And welcome to everybody from everywhere across the internet who is listening from various places. Baltimore has checked into the building. Pensacola, New Jersey is in the building. Of course, Springfield, Massachusetts is in here. St. Petersburg, Florida is in the building. Chicago, Illinois in the building. I got the United Kingdom in here. I got Charlotte, North Kakalaki, North Carolina up in the building. Lafayette, Louisiana in the building. Houston is in the building deep. Charlotte is in the building deep. I got Atlanta in the building. I got New York City in the building. I got Union, New Jersey up in the building. I can't forget my folks that are over on the gram. Santa Cruz, California is up in the building. Atlanta's in the building. Quebec, Canada is in the building. Vicksburg, Mississippi is in the building. Boston is in the building. Glen Heights, Texas is in the building. My Kojic brother from Los Angeles, the Black executive, is up in the building. I got all kinds of people from all kinds of places up in the building this morning. Tulsa, Oklahoma, checking in the building. Good morning. DC is in the place. The DMV is representing. Now, the rest of y'all who ain't, checking in with your city or town, y'all ain't keeping it real. Y'all ain't representing. Come on, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you are chiming in from, what part of the nation, what part of the world you are coming in for. ATL checking in again, multiple ATLs, multiple Charlottes, multiple Houstons, multiple Chicagos are up in here. They represent. And where y'all at, Springfield? Y'all can't have me have all these multiple people from all these other cities and y'all not representing. Keep it real for the 4, the 1, and the 3. 413-736-2781. New Orleans, Louisiana is in the building. Love to you all in New Orleans after that tragedy that happened out there. I saw Master P out there in his hometown trying to bring some love to New Orleans after what happened there the other day. So our prayers definitely go out to those who lost loved ones and who were affected by that tragic event. Detroit is in the building. I see the 413. That's right, 413 stand out. Where y'all at? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. 413, come on in here. Yes. All right, so we're gonna get the conversation popping in a minute. Let me just throw this out here before I take a quick spoken word break. You know, I was on the text thread with my siblings and talking about what happened in New Orleans. And one of my siblings wanted to know, was the dude a white dude? And I just looked at the news reports, and this was before they identified him. I said, let me see. He's dead. And they're already calling him a terrorist. He ain't white. Yeah, he's dead. They're calling him a terrorist. He ain't white. Because if you notice, they never called Timothy McVeigh a terrorist. They never called Dylan Roof a terrorist. They never called James Egan Holmes, the Aurora theater shooter, a terrorist. They never called Stephen Paddock, the dude who shot and killed all those people at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. They never called him a terrorist. Somehow white mass murderers aren't terrorists. They're mentally ill. They got issues. They're loners. They had problems, and we ought to do blue ribbon panels to ferret out what's going on with them. But as soon as the person ain't white, before they find out anything, it's a terrorist attack. Y'all ever notice that? Yeah. That's part of that racist hypocrisy we talking about this morning. 413-736-2781. Hey, it's the truth whether y'all like it or not. Okay? It's the truth. 413. Appreciate you too, family. 413-736-2781. Do me a favor, share. Let people know we on the air. Tell them to get in here to become part of this conversation. All right, part of this conversation. We want to get it popping. I'm playing a little spoken word. Then we're going to do a moment of silence for some folks who have passed, and then we get right into our conversation. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
You say you sold out because black women are loud and crass. What? And your precious white woman is the epitome of class? Are you so blind that you cannot see?
Cannot see?
Little girl child ain't got nothing on me.
Nothing.
For hundreds of years, we have stood by your side, accepted your flaws and allowed you your pride, bore your children and cleaned up your mess, satisfied your lust and always settled for less. We have stayed in the background and allowed you to lead, trusting in your strength and ability to succeed, never getting the praise and credit we deserve, but having the courage, the will,
and the nerve,
for being the backbone that has kept it together for you and our children in all kinds of weather. And now suddenly you say we're not good enough for you. We forced you to sell out because of the things we do. Well, where was that white woman when that white man you hate was cracking the whip? In the boardroom, the warehouse,
and on the slave ship.
She stood by his side and didn't say a word, waiting for her own chance to rule and be heard. And now it's her you turn to and treat like a queen? And me and my sisters you choose to demean? Well, hold up, wait a minute, and stop the damn bus. Because there are a few things I need to remind you about us. Listen up. A more beautiful creature God never made than an African woman, no matter her shade. High, yellow, red bone, or
cocoa brown.
We are more than worthy of wearing a crown. Ebony, mocha, or black as the night. It is we who have always shared in your plight. We are passionate, spiritual, loving, and kind. A more generous heart you'll never find than the one that beats inside the body of a Nubian queen, the hardest working, loving, giving woman you've ever seen. For we give and forgive until there's little left. Then we're forced to put up our guard to avoid your theft. The theft of our hearts and our trust, the very nature of our soul, by our so-called brothers who are just
playing a role.
And you wonder why some of us act as we do? Take a look in the mirror, because the answer is you. It's not enough that the white man has always tried to keep us down, but our own men act as though they'd love to see us drown. And white women have never invited us to join their equal rights struggle. So we're out here alone with a million things we juggle, raising the children that black men leave behind, and dealing with the racism of the daily corporate grind. Damn, it's no wonder some of us are loud. Hell, we're just trying to be heard. In a world where everyone...
Let's get it, y'all.
Where are the the brothers who understand a black woman's worth,
Right here, I got
who
it.
will protect and stand by us, for we are the salt of this earth. We birthed you, raised you, and showered you with love. It was we who taught you to love your creator above. We gave you all we had and taught you to be men. Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
Your black sisters.
Not Bo Derek's kind.
Rate a perfect 10. And one final word for the sellout to claim
to be
when
brothers.
you turn your back on us, you disrespect your mothers. Did you hear that? This is a response to the sellout.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning to you and you. That was a response to the sellout. I don't need to tell you who they are. Y'all already know who you is. Yeah, you know who you are. 413-736-2781. Do me a favor. Put in your New Year's resolution. I know some of y'all got one in the comment section. Let me know what your New Year's resolution is. All right. Y'all know we do that every year. We make some resolutions, some commitments, some promises, some things we gonna do that we didn't used to do. I see you, Albany, Georgia, checking in. Go and put that in the comment section. I need to know what your New Year's resolution is for 2025. Corner. Resolution is. I know there are some who have lost loved ones. It's always hard during the holiday season. Well, it's hard for those who are missing at the table, no matter when they passed away, because we're used to seeing family during the holidays. And then it's particularly hard when we lose family during the holidays. We lost my sister Rhonda on the 23rd of December, the year that she passed, 2 days before Christmas. So that's always a rough time in terms of, remembering that loss, a great loss to our family. And we just lost, our church family lost Deacon Lawrence Thomas right before Christmas. Longtime faithful member of the church. And of course, our prayers go out to the Thomas family. And we lost my cousin, Marcus Sherman, over this holiday season as well. Marcus and I were about 2.5 years apart. Our mothers were sisters. We lost his mother in January of last year, and then lost Marcus in December. And we grew up together. Me and my brothers were either spending the night with them at Aunt Maxine's house, or they were spending the night with us at our house. Whether it was playing sports together, football when we were kids, and hanging out, walking to the movies, reading comic books, drawing. It runs, taking karate together. It runs the gamut. Grew up more like brothers than cousins. And so my condolences go out to my entire family, certainly to my cousin Gene. Marcus was his last living sibling, having lost Monique and Myron in previous years. And so he's the last living sibling out of the 4 of my Aunt Maxine's children. And so, we want to wrap our arms around Gene and support him in this loss of our dearly beloved cousin. So do me a favor. Those of you on social media, you can put the name of any loved one or family member or friend that you know of in the comment section. We're going to have a moment of silence on their behalf. So on behalf of Deacon Thomas and Marcus Sherman and any other lost loved one, go ahead and put their name in the comment section. And certainly you can feel free to call in 413-736-2781 to mention your lost loved one as well. So our condolences go out to everyone who lost somebody, and let's just take a few moments to reflect on the beautiful lives and the memories that we'll have going forward for those that we lost. Amen. We celebrate the lives of those that have joined the ancestors. I see you all putting names of your loved ones in the comment section, and certainly you have our prayers and our condolences to each and every one of you. And we remember those loved ones whose names you're putting in the comment section. Yes, Charles Taylor, and I see Charles Glass, and Brother Digsby, and so many others whose names you are putting in there. David Epps Jr. Our prayers go out to each of their families in their losses. 413-736-2781. 413-736-2781. Yes, Mello, your grandmother. We remember her life and the lives of every one of them. Appreciate your prayers. Appreciate your well wishes. 413-736-2781. 413-736-2781 is the number here. Now, America is a trip because just the racial hypocrisy is amazing to me. And the fact that folk get mad when you point out obvious levels of hypocrisy, it is always interesting. They can't ever say that you're lying, but they just get upset and that's the reason they don't want real American history to be taught, because they don't want to expose the hypocrisy of this nation and its leaders. They don't want people to know the truth. A white man runs a car into a crowd, kills people, he's troubled. Someone who's not white does it, they're a terrorist. They never called the man who ran the car into the crowd in Charlottesville and murdered Heather Heyer. They never called him a terrorist. Why is that? Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, brother. Happy New Year to you. How you doing?
I'm good.
Man, let me say this, man. I so admire you. I started following you last year from a friend of mine that sells real estate. And I had a Twitter account. I got up to 20,000, and Elon Musk shut me down, so I had to come back. But let me say this. I'm going to try to be laconic and slide off. I want to share a story with you. I'm originally from Montgomery, Alabama. And you're talking about terrorism. Now, I'm a former school teacher. I had a friend of mine by the name of Greg Gunn. You can look the story up, that was murdered by a police officer in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, this guy that killed Greg Gunn was, his name is Aaron Cody Smith. He stayed out for 2 years, running around. They took the court case out of Montgomery. They moved it around. They had a black. Montgomery County is predominantly black. Anyway, they sent it to a predominantly white county. He got convicted. Do you know the Attorney General of the state of Alabama turned this guy loose? But this is my story. What I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I was a school teacher. I grew up with Greg and his brothers. We all came from a little community called Mobile Heights. I was calling into the radio station, and so the FBI, along with Montgomery Police Department, started watching me. Long story short, they sent me to federal prison for 2 years and 5 months. Okay, and in the process of that, sir, before the FBI came in, they came to my house. My daughter and kids were here. They now Trump go out here and talk about how he was treated. Man, they kicked the door in. They held AR-15s to my kids' head, my grandkids. My daughter was in medical school. My son was in engineering school. They had to come out of this because of it. Long story short, they sent me to prison, put me on a terrorist list now. I mean, I have never, not one time, ever called for anything against the United States. But they sent me to federal prison. I came out of there with cancer. Every 6 months, my brother, I have to go be checked for cancer. Okay? I have since changed my name and all of that stuff there, but I call in to echo your sentiment on how we as black people or people of color are treated versus how white men are treated. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's really sad how we are treated in this place. Call me because I watch you on X. I admire you. I love you, my brother, man. I mean, you got a lot of courage, and you're an inspiration to a lot of us. So I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. But I had to call in because you're so on point this morning about your subject matter.
All right. Appreciate your call, brother. And Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
413-736-2781. Now, what this brother is saying is real, in terms of the disparate treatment. When Jeff Sessions came in as Attorney General under the first Trump administration, now keep in mind the current director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, was appointed by Donald Trump. FBI directors are appointed to 6-year terms. He was appointed by Donald Trump, and he was retained by Joe Biden. He testified during the Trump administration 3 times before Congress and stated that the number one terrorist threat in America are white supremacist males. Now, this is a conservative Republican dude appointed by Donald Trump who testified 3 times before Congress that the biggest terror threat to America are white supremacist males. In spite of that testimony, Jeff Sessions refocuses the efforts of the Department of Justice so that they are not investigating white supremacist terror groups. They created a category to investigate called Black identity extremists. True story. Look it up. Black identity extremists. Now, the FBI director did not say America has a problem with black identity, so-called black identity extremists. But he did say the number one terror threat are white supremacist males. But they started focusing on investigating so-called black identity extremists. In other words, Black Lives Matter, black activists, black social action, social justice organizations, civil rights organizations, etc. So basically what they did was they recreated what happened under the FBI's time of J. Edgar Hoover, when they had the counterintelligence program, what we call COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO is what was used to investigate and survey Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Adam Clayton Powell, the Black Panthers, etc., etc., etc. So Jeff Sessions, under the Trump administration, rebranded COINTELPRO, called it Black Identity Extremists, and used it as an excuse to intimidate and investigate people like me for being black and for speaking the truth about racism in America. While white supremacist males were off the hook. And as I stated, if you notice, it wasn't even 24 hours. It wasn't even 12 hours after the Bourbon Street shooting that they were calling it an act of terror. Immediately, government forces said it was an act of terror. Immediately, the mayor of New Orleans was on television saying it's a terrorist act because she was told it was terrorism. Because the dead suspect was not white. And just check the record. Look 24 hours. Look even to this day. Most of these white supremacist males that Christopher Wray talked about that mass murdered people are still not listed as terrorists by the U.S. government. They never called Dylan Roof a terrorist for going into a black church and murdering 9 black people. They took him to Burger King. He didn't wind up dead like the Bourbon Street shooter. And how come it is that if the mass murderer is not white, they get killed by police? How come it is that just everyday black people who get pulled over for things like a broken tail light, not stopping at a stop sign, get murdered by police, unarmed? Think about it. Unarmed. How come a Walter Scott who gets pulled over for a traffic violation takes 8 bullets to the back? How come a Jalen Walker, a 20-something-year-old black man who the police were chasing for not stopping at a stop sign, gets 90 bullets fired at him? 90, y'all. 90. Not 9. 90 bullets. Unarmed. 90 bullets fired at him. 60 some odd bullets hit his body for not stopping at a stop sign. But white males who mass murder people don't ever get fired at. White males who are armed to the teeth, they always manage to arrest them without incident, without firing a bullet. And so people always say, well, you know, the police just need more training. They don't need, no, listen, y'all stop saying that. Because nobody has to train them how not to kill white mass murderers. Nope, they never went through a training on how not to kill white mass murderers. Why they got to go through a training on how not to kill black people? The young lady who was in her home, who called the police because she thought someone was trying to break into her house. And the police come to see her and they shoot her because she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and she gets murdered. But these white dudes can mass murder people and they never fire a single bullet. And the federal law enforcement officials never label them as terrorists. They never labeled Dylan Roof a terrorist. Stephen Paddock, the man who sat up in the window, I was there. We had the NAACP National Convention in Las Vegas. I stayed at the Mandalay Bay. And at that very hotel, Stephen Paddock checked into a suite and mass murdered 60 some odd people. They never called Stephen Paddock a terrorist. Timothy McVeigh put a bomb in his truck and went to the federal building in Oklahoma City and blew up building, killing people. They never called him a terrorist. James Egan Holmes, dressed up in body armor, had automatic weapons, grenades, all kinds of stuff. Went into a theater in Aurora, Colorado. Mass murdered people who were watching a movie. They arrested him with body armor on and armed. Never shot a bullet at him. Never called him a terrorist. How does your skin tone determine whether you get labeled as a terrorist or not? The Buffalo supermarket mass murderer went in and just murdered 10 black people, specifically picked Buffalo for its black population, specifically picked that neighborhood where the top supermarket is, because that's where black people shop. And murdered 10 black people. If that ain't terror, if plotting out how to go and murder black people isn't terror, what is? They never called him a terrorist. Dylan Roof drove hours to get to Charleston South Carolina. He drove from North Carolina to South Carolina. Specifically targeted Charleston for the historical significance. The historical significance of that church, of Mother Emanuel Church, the church home of Denmark Vesey. He specifically wanted to go to that church. If that's not a deliberate act of terror, what is? But they never called him a terrorist. So the hypocrisy surrounding race in America has been a constant drumbeat. Black people are often subjected to ridicule, held to impossible double standards, and forced to navigate a society that is steeped in the arrogance and the fragility of white supremacy. And the hypocrisy is glaring. Glaring. The three examples I want to use, I don't have a whole lot of time left. I wanted to touch on that terrorism thing, but also notice what has happened lately. Outrage over black excellence in entertainment, whitewashing, historical atrocities, and the cognitive dissonance of the entire MAGA crowd. Beyonce performs on Christmas Day at halftime of football game. And for generations, black people were excluded from basic public spaces like water fountains, hotels, schools, restaurants, entertainment, and juries. Whiteness pretty much saturated every inch of public life, which basically forced black people to create their own spaces. When people complain about, oh, why is there a United Negro College Fund? Why is there a National Association for the Advancement of Culture? Why is there a Black History Month? We had to create those things to acknowledge ourselves because white society tried to exclude us. So when Beyonce performed with predominantly black dancers and singers and creatives, white folk lost their mind. Lost their minds. Why are there no white people? I mean, the same people who championed whites-only spaces all of a sudden are screaming racism when they see black brilliance celebrated on the world stage. I mean, the caucasity of their complaints. You know, when Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar and Eminem and 50 Cent performed at halftime of the Super Bowl, they lost their minds. They lost their minds. And it ain't the performance. It's what the performance represents. An unapologetic reclamation of black pride in spaces that were once denied to us. And their discomfort with seeing black excellence on the world stage reveals their fragility. It's a reminder that the dominance that they once enjoyed was never rooted in merit. So all that talk about America is a meritocracy and it should be about merit. No, white folk didn't get to where they are, or they didn't get what they have because of merit. They got there because of exclusion. That's what it was, exclusion. And if you try to make the playing field even slightly more even, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. And then they couldn't handle Beyonce singing country music because they think country music belongs to us. Y'all stole country music from black people. We created country. We created jazz. We created the blues. We created rock and roll. We created hip hop. That's us. We did that. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Bishop.
Yes.
I'm glad you touched on that about how they envy black excellence. Because black people have always been great. They knew we were great when they came over. Their ancestors came over and brought them here. They knew how great we were.
Well, that's the irony of it. They now want to claim black people are just inherently lazy, and I'm like, y'all didn't go over to Africa and kidnap and enslave black people to work your land and to build America because they were lazy.
That's the truth. Thank you, Bishop, for bringing it out.
All right. 413-736-2781. Notice we only got lazy after emancipation. Y'all didn't think we were so lazy when we were taking care of your kids and cleaning your houses and building your cities and building America. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then there's this thing where, as I already stated, white men have the legacy of terror. But there's this contradiction where they label black people as the race baiters and race. If I got $1 every time a white person called me a race baiter or a race hustler, I could retire in the Bahamas. Okay? Anytime a black person condemns white folks for their anti-black racism, they become a race baiter or a race hustler. And then they ignore the historical atrocities that have been committed by white men in the name of race. How are the dudes who orchestrated the genocide of indigenous people? The dudes who enslaved, raped, lynched, and brutalized millions of Africans. The white men who dropped atomic bombs on Japanese civilians. The white men who incarcerated 120,000 Japanese Americans in internment camps and forced 6,000 Native Americans to march and die along the Trail of Tears. How are the white men who experimented on black men during the Tuskegee syphilis study and who systemically denied black people the right to vote, to own homes, to receive government benefits? How are the white men who raised black cities like Tulsa and Rosewood and murdered their residents in cold blood going to have the nerve to say anybody else is a race baiter and a race hustler? I mean, the hypocrisy is staggering. Recognizing the truth and speaking the truth isn't race baiting. What we're doing is holding up a mirror to America's past and present. And until this nation reckons with these realities, the label of race hustler and race baiter should be pinned squarely on those who have perpetrated and who have benefited from systems of oppression while simultaneously denying that the very systems that they created actually exist. And then let me deal with, because Don Felton's coming up in 5 minutes, this MAGA hypocrisy on the criticism that they got from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. So Ramaswamy, the son of Indian immigrants, Elon Musk, a South African immigrant, basically told MAGA supporters And it was a beauty to see them lose their minds over it. That they're lazy, that they glorify mediocrity, that they don't raise their children right, and they can't compete in the modern economy. They use that narrative as their the linchpin of their support of HB1 visas for the tech industry. To hire foreign workers, and we know that's a bunch of junk. Because what people like Elon Musk and Ramaswamy have done is they have laid off American workers and then hired foreign workers with HB1 visas for cheaper. It's all about making money. It ain't got nothing to do with competing. But this is what they're telling the MAGA crowd. And the MAGA crowd lost their collective minds about being called lazy, mediocre, and wanting a handout and not being able to compete, and that they merit and all that stuff. Yet that's the same narrative that the MAGA crowd has been using on black people forever. Isn't it amazing how when these two immigrants, and the MAGA crowd don't like immigrants, how when these two immigrants use the same narrative on the MAGA crowd that the MAGA crowd uses on black people, that MAGA loses their minds. So it's okay to say that stuff about black people, just not about them. All right, Blue Sky Ambassador, you're the last caller of the day. You got the microphone. Blue Sky, you got the microphone. Unmute your mic. Let's get it. Blue Sky going once, going twice. All right, Blue Sky, I got to move on. I got to move on. Listen, coming up at 10 o'clock is mid-morning jazz, great black music. Don Felton is up next. He's going to make it smooth. He's going to make it personal. So keep it locked right here at 90.7. Listen, check me out on Monday on the spoken word. I'll be back, like Arnold Schwarzenegger says. I'll be back on the spoken word on Monday morning at 9 a.m. If you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Bishop Talbot Swan Way, Springfield, Massachusetts. The Brick Church right there at Six Corners. There'll be prayer, praise, and preaching. We're building better tomorrows by changing lives today. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember God loves you, and so do I. Peace and blessings. Happy New Year. Enjoy.
Brother, how you doing?
Good. How you feel?
Good, great. Happy New Year to you all.
Same to you, bro.
All the brothers that passed, but more particularly one because it affected me drastically. I remember my sister gave me the call and